Nintendo is known for its music and the clever ways it hides secrets within that music, whether that's Morse code messages or melodies you can only hear when you listen in reverse. But now, with the launch of the Switch 2, Nintendo has released a whole new set of games: Donkey Kong Bananza, Mario Kart World, Kirby Air Riders, and more. And after picking through these soundtracks with a fine-toothed comb, it turns out there's just as many secrets here as ever. I'll break down the clever, adaptive music of Pokémon Legends ZA, the hidden melody you can hear a character hum in Mario Kart World, and even some sneaky sound effects in the Switch 2's menus. Let's talk about the musical secrets of the Switch 2. Number 1. First, let's talk about Donkey Kong Bananza. This is the first new Donkey Kong game in more than a decade, and the game's developers were keen to pay homage to DK's long legacy. Naoto Kubo, the game's lead composer, had never worked on a Donkey Kong game before. In an interview, he said, "When I first joined the project as sound director, I played through all the past Donkey Kong games to pick out what kind of music was used. We put a lot of effort into songs featuring arrangements or musical phrases from past games." Now, some of those arrangements are obvious, like the game's new takes on classic Donkey Kong Country levels, Jungle Hijinks, or Bramble Blast, for instance. But in addition to these obvious rearrangements, there's some more subtle nods to DK's musical legacy. For instance, late in the game, the player faces an underground gauntlet of tough enemies, between which they ride a minecart deeper underground. And when you switch between fighting and karting, the music changes too. That minecart song might sound familiar to long-time DK fans. It's the same melody heard in Donkey Kong Country's minecart levels. This is a subtle reference that most players wouldn't spot, and it shows Naoto Kubo's dedication to DK history. Number 2. Next, let's talk about Mario Kart World. This game features the biggest soundtrack Nintendo has ever produced, filled with remixes of music from all across the Mario series. But even in the new tunes, you can spot some clever, subtle references to Mario's musical history. Take Starview Peak, a brand new course based on Rosalina's Observatory from Super Mario Galaxy. Listen to the music from this course and you might think it's a fully original theme. But hidden deep in the track is the original theme of Rosalina's Observatory. Listen carefully to the string part here. And if I play that part on the piano, it should sound pretty familiar. But that's not the only new song from Mario Kart World which references Nintendo's musical legacy. Take the course DK Spaceport. This whole course is based on the original Donkey Kong arcade game, including the music. Even the sound effects are ripped straight out of the arcade. But my favourite part is the finale. As you approach the course's final straight, the music changes completely to the hammer theme from Donkey Kong in the arcade. The whole course feels like one big love letter to the game which made Nintendo who it is today. Number 3. Now I want to show you a really clever musical trick used by Pokémon Legends ZA. In this game, the player's entire adventure takes place within Lumiose City, which is large and easy to get lost in. To help with navigation, developers Game Freak split the city into 5 districts: Vert, Bleu, Magenta, Rouge, and Jaune. But if you don't want to have to keep checking the map, there's a way to instantly know where in the city you are. Listen to the music. Each of the 5 districts is represented by a different musical instrument, which plays the Lumiose City theme. In Jaune district, the melody is played by a saxophone. But cross into Rouge and it switches to a trumpet. In Magenta district, it's an accordion. In Bleu district, it's a flute. And in Vert district, it's a clarinet. Now, after the game's release, YouTuber Insane in the Rain Music, real name Carlos Ini, revealed that he worked on the game's soundtrack. For years, Carlos arranged jazz covers of video game tunes on his YouTube channel, where he played nearly all of the instruments himself. Now, while we don't know for sure which of the game's composers worked on which tune, I personally would guess that this clever piece of adaptive music just might have been the brainchild of Carlos Ini. Either way, it's a neat musical trick. Number 4. Next, let's talk about a music secret within the Switch 2's operating system. If you have a Switch or Switch 2, this screen should look pretty familiar. Anytime you want to connect a new controller, say for Mario Kart, this is the menu you use. But within this simple menu screen hides an interesting audio trick. Right now, I have one set of Joy-Cons connected, and when I press L, this noise plays. When I press R, the noise is slightly different. It's a tiny bit higher. Add more controllers and the pattern continues. With 4 controllers, you can play 8 different notes, or a full octave. Here is the Super Mario theme. And here is the theme from Zelda. It's worth noting that Nintendo themselves pointed out this Easter egg on the Nintendo Today app prior to the Switch 2's launch. Clearly, it was something they were pretty pleased with. Number 5. While we're talking about inbuilt musical sounds, there's another Easter egg built into the Switch 2 itself. When you unlock your Switch, this is the screen you see. You press the same button 3 times and the console unlocks, right? But on the original Switch, pressing certain buttons, ZL and ZR, to unlock your console, triggered different, odd sound effects. It was a fun little Easter egg. Well, for the Switch 2, Nintendo doubled down on this audio secret. There's a whole set of unique, weird sound effects you can trigger by pressing certain buttons to unlock your Switch 2. Using ZL sounds like a baby's squeaker toy. ZR sounds like a squawking bird. Pushing in the left stick sounds like a cuckoo clock. Pushing in the right stick sounds like a squeaking balloon, which then pops. Using the minus button sounds like a retro arcade game. And finally, using the plus button sounds like a different retro game. So all in all, that's 6 sets of unique and weird unlock sounds for the Switch 2. Next time you unlock your console, try using one of the buttons to hear these strange sounds for yourself. Number 6. Next, let's move on to Kirby Air Riders, the brand new Kirby racing game. Now, the game's first racetrack is called Floria Fields, and its music sounds like this. Now, if you played Kirby Mass Attack on the DS back in the day, that melody might sound familiar. In the first level of the game's desert world, you unclog a desert geyser, bringing water back to this arid land. And when you do that, the level music changes to a beautiful bossa nova track. Two melodies are in a different key and at a different tempo, so let me compare them for you on the piano. As you can see, while they're not identical, the similarities are unmistakable. Now, do I think this was an intentional reference? Probably not. Kirby Mass Attack's music was written by Shogo Sakai, a long-time Kirby composer, and Sakai also worked on the new Kirby Air Riders. So this was likely a case of a composer writing two similar melodies decades apart. Still pretty interesting. Number 7. Next, let's return to Pokémon Legends ZA for another example of the game's clever adaptive audio. Littered throughout Lumiose City are a number of wild zones where Pokémon roam free and can be battled or caught. Normally, when you're exploring these wild zones, you hear this peaceful music. But enter into a battle and the music seamlessly transitions into a much more energetic version of the theme. But that's not all. Occasionally, you'll encounter a so-called alpha Pokémon, a wild Pokémon that's much more aggressive than normal. And when you do, the music shifts again. In other words, the Wild Zone music has 3 different variants which seamlessly transition to match the player's actions. Pretty clever. Number 8. Now back to Mario Kart World. On the character select screen, each character will do a little dance while you pick who you want to race as. And if you wait for a number of seconds, this happens. The characters will start to hum. Now, I've listened carefully to these hummed melodies. And as far as I can tell, they don't bear any deeper meaning. With one exception. Listen to the tune that Yoshi hums. If you're well versed in Nintendo music history, you'll recognize that as Totaka's song. Kazumi Totaka, one of Nintendo's most prolific composers, hid a special melody in almost every game he's worked on. In Mario Kart 8, groups of Yoshis watching by the sidelines will occasionally hum this tune if you go up to them. But in World, you can hear this hummed theme on the character select screen. It's extra special as the voice actor behind Yoshi's iconic voice is Kazumi Totaka himself. And after all these decades, Totaka's theme is still cropping up in Nintendo's big new games. Number 9. Now, back in Donkey Kong Bananza, whenever DK transforms into a new form, a Bananza transformation as it's called, the music totally changes. in the early stages of development, when composer Naoto Kubo was told that DK would transform into a zebra, he wrote an upbeat Latin-inspired song. And in his own words, "I thought I might as well go full swing, so I added vocals to the Latin and Spanish style music." Having vocals inspired the team to add in the character of Pauline, a young singer who serves as DK's sidekick. But listen closely to Pauline's singing from the beginning of the zebra transformation theme. If you played a lot of Mario Kart Tour, Pauline's vocals might sound familiar. One of her voice clips from Tour features the exact same vocal line. Now, I really can't see this as a coincidence. It's even in the same key, after all. But adult Pauline and young Pauline are voiced by two different actresses, meaning that Nintendo didn't just reuse the voice clip. They went out of their way to re-record it for DK Bananza. What a deep cut. Number 10. I want to end with one more Pauline secret. When you get lost in Donkey Kong Bananza, you can use music to lead the way to your next destination. By holding the L button, DK will whistle and Pauline will hum along. There's a few different tunes they'll perform. And if you're anything like me, you might have wondered what those tunes are. Could they be deep cuts from Donkey Kong's back catalogue? Well, the answer is not exactly. In a recent interview, composer Naoto Kubo was asked about these tunes. He answered, they were ad-libbed by Jenny Kidd. Now, Jenny Kidd is the voice actress of young Pauline from DK Bananza, and it turns out those whistle themes you'll end up hearing many times throughout your adventure were just made up by her on the spot. From the start, we discussed using music to lead the player on their way, so we wanted a melody that came naturally to the lips. And so the tunes you hear were totally made up. Except that's not 100% true. Yes, for the majority of your time playing DK Bananza, the navigation tunes are just ad-libs. But finish the game and hop back in, and there's a random chance you'll hear a new tune. It's Break Free, the game's main theme.
When the world felt so cruel and bleak, when the whole
This song is sung by Pauline during the game's end credits, so it makes sense that post-credits she'd still be humming along to it. What a neat little Easter egg. And that wraps up our journey through some of the Switch 2's coolest musical secrets and Easter eggs. From clever adaptive Pokémon music to Yoshi's hummed melody, which connects to a decades-long history, to musical secrets hidden within the Switch 2 operating system itself, this new console continues the tradition of Nintendo games with amazing music. In a year, 2 years, 5 years from now, we'll have a whole new set of Nintendo games full of even more Easter eggs and secrets. But for now, I hope this has whet your appetite. Thanks as always for watching. Videos like this one are made possible thanks to my kind patrons, including Aaron and Catherine, Arthur Nicole, Bones Vivi, Brett Prophet, Cyprian Eov, Daryl Jero, Ellie Birnbaum, Eliza the Doe, Fresh Poetic, Jim Gilsonen, Kieran Chan, Kinugu, Lucas Little, Michael Gunter, Rabinstick, Skator Pie, and Thomas Söderlund.